Hi, I'm going to try to show you how to make a shared benchmark using USA Test Prep. Go to USA Test Prep, click on that. Find the tab that says Assessments. Don't worry if you don't have any classes, we can do that later. Go to Assessments. Go to Create New Assessment. Click that. Give your assessment a name. Practice January 2021 is what I'm going to name mine. And then I'm going to select the test that goes with my subject area. So I'm going to do 8th grade science pass. Click that. All those things pop up. And then this is the most important thing. I need you to make sure that you take share assessment and change it to yes. Make sure that's on yes. Then everything else you can leave as the default. Hit continue. When you get to this option, choose all the questions yourself. Go to the standard and pick your standard. So the first standard that we taught this 9 weeks, or the first 9 weeks, was forces in motion. So you click that. All 7 of the indicators pop up. We taught all 7 of the indicators. So I'm gonna click on the plus sign. It's gonna automatically generate 10 questions, multiple choice questions randomly, and gives you the DOK levels. You can choose to click on each question now and view them, or you can just pick 4 random questions and then go back and view it. I like to just pick the first 4 of each of the indicators. That will give me about 50 questions to look at, and I need 40 for my assessment. So just go to the indicators, click the plus sign, start clicking your questions. Okay, so that was the first 7 indicators. Now I need to go to another standard. We did waves as well, so I'm going to click add questions from another standard. We did waves. It's going to give me this 6 indicators. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. Click on here and pick the first 4. I still have it as random. Okay, in science, we also teach engineering practices throughout the year. I'm going to go ahead and give the kids a practice on this assessment. They always struggle with interpret data, so I'm going to click here. And if I were to look at each one of these questions and did not like them, I could always go to load more questions and click that, and it's going to automatically give me some different questions to look at. So I'm just going to pick 2 of these questions, and then I'll go to some other indicator. Evaluate information is always a struggle, so I'm going to just pick some of those. And design solutions, why not? Okay, so that's all my questions that I've selected. I'm going to hit continue. For our purposes, I would suggest continue and skip to preview, okay? So if you continue to skip to preview, it is going to be faster for you. I'm going to show you how to just continue so that if you accidentally hit continue, which is the most logical thing, hit continue and it's going to pop up to add favorite questions and don't add favorite questions. I'm assuming that you don't know much about USA Test Prep and don't have the favorite questions. So we're just going to go to no, do not add. Then it's going to ask about performance tasks. Choose no for each of these things. No 2-part questions and no free response. Once this is generated, you can get a stat on how the questions were that you selected, how many questions for each indicator, your DOK levels, and the questions here, number of questions. So we only had 6 engineering practices. Forces in motion was 28, waves was 24 questions. So that's great. Okay, so this is the fun part. What you're going to do is you're going to go back, and since I did not take the time to read these questions, I'm going to read them now. So I read the question, and I'm like, oh, wow, I don't know if they're going to remember this. So I'm going to look and see if there's a better question that I think my kids might do better on or works better with our standards. So I can look at 5 different options. I can also look at the DOK level. Don't like that question. Don't like that question, whatever. If you don't like any of these, you can close and then replace with similar questions and see if they give you different questions. So sometimes they give you totally different questions if there are a lot on this one indicator. I'm just going to leave it as it is. Then if you don't like your question, you can remove the question. It's going to freak out and make sure that you want to remove it. Go ahead and remove it and so forth. So by the end, if you have gone through all of these and looked at the questions and made sure that they're what you want and that you don't need to change anything else, you would go to Save Assessment. Oops. It's at the back. It's at the top. Save Assessment. At this point, I'm going to suggest go ahead and assign this assessment, even if you don't plan to use it or it's not ready to go. Just go ahead and assign this assessment. You have to choose a class. You can change this later. I'm just going to choose one class right now. Add to Google Classroom. I'm going to leave it as no for now. I'm going to say that's the assessment, and then you can see that I have one assessment here for my 8th graders. Make sure that it has the name that you just named it and a small red S, because that shows that I shared this assessment. Continue. Start date. I'm going to start it next week, and I'm going to, or whatever, next week, and I'm going to let it run for 2 weeks. So then it has to end by the 29th. Suggested time, I'm not going to give it a time. I'm not going to give it a minimum length, and I am going to have it allow multiple attempts just to 1. So everything is the default. None, 1 attempt, no. Save assignment. And it says success, your assignment has been created. Now return to assignments and get the phone. Okay. I hope I wasn't recording that whole time. All right, so anyway, now you've got assignments, and it should be listed here. It should also be under assessments. You can assign it this way. It's still going to give you the select the classes, choose assignment, choose settings again. All right, if you have any questions, let me go back to assessments. Okay. Yeah, if you have any questions, hopefully I can help you out with that.